Folks, for the last few years, I've been telling anyone that will listen to stop watching the news. I know that sounds crazy, but you could probably barely count on one hand how many times the media has had your best interest in mind. When practically no one listened to that, I said, all right, fine. Then whatever you hear on the news, believe the opposite. I have a new message specifically for this current situation we're in. Unless it's a virus task force or CDC briefing, don't watch any news on any channel, period. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here on MRC-TV. I'm Nick Kangadis. All right, let me explain my opening. When I said at the top that you shouldn't watch any news programs, what I meant was you shouldn't watch any news programs. Know when the president, the virus task force, or the CDC is going to do a briefing. Absolutely stay up to date on that. But the media, once again, is only thinking about their bottom line instead of giving you anything worth any level of substance. And why? I'll tell you again, because before they're news outlets, they are businesses first. Their job is to make what they present to you as sensational and division-inducing as possible. Well, that and Orange Man bad. This entire time, no matter what the circumstances have been, they have betrayed any trust that might have been left between them and the public by going with the opposite narrative of what President Trump and the virus task force have laid out for the people. He bans travel to and from China. The media calls him racist. He publicly states where the virus originated from. They call him racist.
This is all happening at a time that we're starting to see a message shift here, because you're starting to hear the Republicans, especially Trump calling it the Wuhan or the Chinese coronavirus. They're looking for someone to blame.
And it's not just the media. The politicians are culpable in all of this too. Trump is publicly agreeable to plans that would help the people during this time. What does the media do? The media says he isn't doing enough, while the politicians attempt to add things that have nothing to do with aiding people in this time of crisis, which, by the way, add billions of dollars to these brilliant plans.
Corporate board diversity, same-day election registration, wind tax credits, solar tax credits. I mean, this stuff, it's basically they want the Green New Deal. And they're saying if you Republicans don't endorse it, we're going to strangle the American people economically.
So who do you trust? It certainly isn't the media and politicians. This crisis has proved one thing crystal clear, at least to me. The media and a large portion of politicians don't care about you. And when I say you, I mean people that don't have the ability to make their lives better. They still love their lobbyists and unions paving the way for them to maintain the lifestyles they bash privately rich people for having.
The Democrats in the Congress performed some jujitsu on the bill that was there. I'm so proud of my House Democratic chairman. Their wisdom, their knowledge, their experience, their strategic thinking is just dazzling, and they had a big impact working with the Senate Democrats to take this bill from a corporate-oriented bill to a worker-oriented bill.
The issue that really pushed it over the top for me was when I was writing a blog I wrote on Wednesday about a late 2019 Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security study that stated that while the U.S. score wasn't perfect, our country, that the media loves to blast every chance they get, was the most prepared country in the world to deal with a pandemic. In doing some research for that blog, I went to Google and simply typed in US ill-prepared. What I found was at least a dozen outlets, all left of center at their core, with published articles stating how ill-prepared the US was for a pandemic. Now bear with me here. The alphabetically ordered list I'm about to give you is to prove a point. Al Jazeera, how prepared is the US? Not very. The Atlantic, the U.S. isn't ready for what's about to happen. Bloomberg, Larry Summers, U.S. is hugely ill-prepared for coronavirus. CNBC, U.S. isn't prepared for outbreak. CNN, according to the New York Times, U.S. was ill-prepared. Daily Beast, we're not prepared. Express, we're so ill-prepared. The Guardian, health experts concerned U.S. hospitals are not prepared. Salt Lake Tribune, which has Mitt Romney saying Trump administration substantially unprepared. Time, why we are so ill-prepared for possible pandemic. Truthout.org, U.S. is not prepared for coronavirus. And the Washington Post, U.S. health system is showing why it's not ready. Did you get all that? It's almost as if there's been a coordinated effort to not only inform the public that our country wasn't and still isn't prepared, but they're doing it to such an extent that people have been in a panic for weeks now. There's absolutely no reason that people should be fighting over toilet paper. Hoarding the soft stuff isn't going to help you. Sorry to burst the bubble for some of you, but it just isn't. And the people fighting over it are just as bad as those in the media who are doing their best to make you squirm in your homes. I've said it in a previous video, and I'll say it again. Take the proper precautions. If the virus task force is telling people not to get together in groups of more than 10 or to stay home as much as possible for the time being, then do it. It makes no sense to put yourselves or anyone else at heightened risks of catching this thing if you can help it. That being said, I'll say it again. Stop watching any and all news. Do more important things, like literally anything else. Catch up on a TV show or movies you've been wanting to watch. Or hell, here's a novel idea. Call up family and friends and catch up with them if you don't already do so. Eat dinner with your family around the dinner table. You know, the stuff we used to do. There's one final thing I'd like to convey to all of you about how little you can trust the vast majority of media. This tweet that political commentator Stephen Miller shared on Wednesday, which he described as, quote, becoming harder to deny this connection, unquote, spoke volumes to me. Quote, media outlets couldn't wait to air these coronavirus briefings when they thought it was their chance to nail Trump. The approval polls started coming in and suddenly they didn't want to air them anymore, unquote. That right there is why you shouldn't watch any news on pretty much any channel anymore. Whatever feeds their narratives is what they're going to push. And as we've previously seen,
in the midst of this global pandemic, at this moment of crisis, the president, as he has been doing daily, as he has done since the first case arrived on our shores, went out today and said things that are flat out wrong, that are lies, and more than that, that are dangerous. And that's why we did not play you any sound of what he said today. Because frankly, the president has become a kind of, well, he's a genuine threat to public health.
Any and everything that can make the orange man look bad is what their objective is. It doesn't matter if what they're reporting is good for the country or whether it could cripple this country that the majority of we, the people, love. If it's good in the sense that it helps strengthen their attempted grip on people's minds, then so be it. They want you to be good little robots, and if you don't fall in line with exactly how they want you to think, then they will do everything in their power to take everything you hold dear through fear and intimidation, typically in the form of painting you as a racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic, classist pig. They've divided workplaces, they've divided friends, and they've divided families. The last thing they have left to make you feel guilty about is what's going on inside your own head. And as we've seen, they've done a pretty good job at that. Well, stop. Don't let them. Don't continue to give them that type of power. Turn them off. Tell them you don't need them. Don't buy what they want you to buy. And most important, don't let them re-educate you. They've been doing it for years without you knowing, particularly in turbulent times like these, and it won't be the last time unless we, the people, begin to say no. What do you think? Am I making sense here, or am I possibly leaving something out? Let me know in the comments. I love rational and logical discussion, so it'd be great to hear from all of you. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and a share. Those are the two best ways to let us know you want us to keep these videos coming. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so that YouTube might actually let you know when MRC-TV comes out with a new video. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kangadis.